Chrissy Teigen has had multiple issues on the internet. Things always end up happening where she's found herself on the wrong side of a controversy. And this one is just another version of that. She threw a lavish game show themed party based off of this popular show Squid Game, which I haven't watched. So
I did.
Maybe some of you guys can fill me on exactly why this is such a big deal. But let's go to this first graphic here. First off, that showed the scene there where she was throwing this. Looks like a nice little get up and set up there. I guess this is similar to what it looks like in Squid Game, but she did point out, and this is from her Instagram, absolutely epic night, and it's a dream come true, and it's a fun Squid Game party. Now, the person who won this particular game got a trip to Napa and a dinner at the French Laundry up there, very fancy. No. Let's go to actually that celebration of her handing off the prize to, I suppose, the winner here. So after she promoted this on her Instagram, some people were a bit upset about the bit of the tone deafness to it. So let's look at this one particular post here. The simply unmatched irony of John Legend and Chrissy Teigen hosting a Squid Game party for all their rich celeb friends. Because there's people dressed in the jumpsuits there, and there's, I believe that is Chrissy Teigen in the orange dress, which I guess is one of the main people on the show as well, accompanied by other members there. And they had lots of fun. Now, again, because I was one of the ones unfamiliar, the whole base of the show is about debt-ridden people that agree to play a deadly series of, quote, games. And the winner, who has a very, very slim chance of winning, gets the equivalent of about $40 million, and it's all for the enjoyment of ultra-wealthy VIPs. So it's basically a portrait of wealth inequality in the world, which is now a major global issue. So now the question is, guilty?
Yeah, so we got a poll on this. I'm split on it. I'm gonna tell you why I'm split on it in a second. TYT.com/polls all the time. So in this case, people are outraged about Chrissy Teigen and John Legend's Squid Game themed party, calling them to tone deaf. What do you think, guilty or not guilty? Okay, even the not guilty though gets a kick in the butt apparently to get out of jail. All right, so anyways, so why am I split on it? One, the critique is absolutely correct. So here are wealthy people who, let's be honest, are making less wealthy people play a game to win an incredibly obnoxious wealthy prize. French Laundry is the very shishi restaurant in Northern California where all the super wealthy go, and it's very hard to get into. That's where Gavin Newsom did his fundraiser and got busted on it in the middle of COVID. He's like, everybody mask up, and then he goes to a fundraiser and like hugs and kisses and makes out with donors. And it was all at French Laundry, and they're all having a great time. And so you can't find a more tone deaf place than French Laundry to send people. It is a critique of late stage capitalism. And then they turn it on its head and they're like, all right, now everybody compete and we'll give you money. Like, no, Christy, don't do that. Okay, now, well, what's the other side? Well, the other side is, they want to have a fun game with their friends. And I get the Squid Games, it's like deadly in the show, but the games that they play are kids games. So I can see how the kids games are fun. You get eliminated, they're not actually killing their guests, right? And so I do, on the other hand, want to say, get off their balls. They had a party, they had fun, everybody there had fun, and now we all got to judge them, and we all judge each other too much. So I don't know, you guys can convince me either way.
Yeah, I wonder what you think, Jackson, first, because I have a very specific thought about this.
Yeah, again, I haven't seen the show, but from the description, I mean, for me, there's that element that you could say for tone deafness, but I honestly, I don't really care that much because it's kind of just rich people having fun. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, so like this is an easy story to just kind of look over and, you know, focus more on like wages and stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this seemed more like Chrissy Teigen has the controversies, but she has done horrible things online. She has done some of the cyberbullying, which, you know, she's continued to reel from. So she has a background. It's like Rasheed Wallace in the NBA. He'd give you a normal foul, and because of his history with referees, they tee him up more times than they would anyone else. So she's on the, you automatically get the technical foul because of what you've done in the past. But just in this instance, again, maybe the biggest crime is showing everybody the lavish parties you have, because for those who don't know, rich people have lavish parties. And then when they have a regular party, it's also a lavish party. That's just what it is. So the thing about going to French Laundry and going up to Napa, those aren't lavish things. Those are normal things. So we all know our own surroundings. When someone makes $50,000 a year, when they were previously making $20,000 a year, they live a different level of lavishness, but it's not even lavish, just better than 20,000. So if you're a multimillionaire, you live better than someone who makes $500,000. It's just the way it is. So the only biggest thing here is, I guess the tone deafness is not realizing that people don't live like you, and then when they see it, they're gonna go, oh my God, they have a lot of money to spend. Which, to the people who say that, I say, you didn't know that?
Yeah.
I thought that's why everyone is like, I wanna be a celebrity, I wanna be rich and famous, because you get to do things like this. Generally, of course, not every celebrity will do this, but so, that's the general lifestyle.
Yeah, but it's got a lot of nuance, because Chrissy Teigen also has done great things online. So, you know, I think she gets a bad rap for people focusing on the bullying, and part of the reason for that is that she was decent enough to apologize for it, which is usually a mistake, right? Like, oh, don't actually be a decent person. So I was right all along, right? But she's also fought back against the right wing in ways that were great, et cetera. So it's a mixed bag. But I think the number one issue here is that they made it public, and that feels a little off, right? Because if you have that party in private, have at it, Hoss. And their guests, there's other celebrities in there. Their guests aren't poor or anything. They're friends of theirs. They're probably upper middle class.
Like doctors and lawyers and stuff like that.
Yeah, and so they're not as rich as John Legend and Chrissy Teigen, but they're still rich, and they mainly did it for fun, right? So if you did that in private, I'd have zero problems with it. But when you make it public, it feels accidentally like you're rubbing it in a little bit. And again, it misses the point of the show. And I did watch the show, and the show is critiquing how the ultra wealthy, for entertainment reasons, get the lower classes to fight against one another, sometimes to the death. And that is a great critique of our system, right? When you miss that critique and you think it's a good reason for the rich to actually get together and make others compete, it's a little cringy that you missed the point.
Yeah, it's just, I just think it's harmless. So usually when somebody does something that's tone deaf or something, or it's an illustration of our society, I at least want it to be an illustration of our society that they have some kind of part in. If you're a politician, if you have some kind of a legislator, and you have some effect on the way people live, Chrissy Teigen and John Legend aren't changing the way people live based off whether or not they had this party or not. That's why I kind of don't care that they had the party, because who did it hurt? It just kind of made us look and go, that looks a little weird, which I think most people can really get over here.
Yeah, and like Jackson, last thing is, we just attack each other on Twitter too much. And I get that it's deeply ironic that I'm saying that, because I attack people like crazy on Twitter, okay? But I do that because the left barely has any fighters. And so, like, since all the Democrats surrender immediately, like get into the battlefield, they're like, oh, right? So I'm like, okay, well, somebody's gonna fight these sons of bitches. But when we're nitpicking each other's personal lives, it's just, we're too judgmental overall. Like in politics, you gotta battle. There's no other choice. Surrender is a terrible option, but in the personal lives, I feel like, yeah, maybe they misstep, but maybe we should just get off them for a second, right? Yeah. So since they did, in my opinion, misstep a little bit, I don't know how to vote, but that's why we're doing the poll. But all right, so Jackson, your last thoughts on it.
Oh yeah, again, I think I agree with you. I think that we've kind of gotten a little bit too used to looking for something to be about, and oftentimes it takes away from, again, things that really matter. Like, how are we going to make sure that people get better wages, better salaries, better benefits, more modernized education, that like better access to healthcare, things like that that'll actually improve our lives. Everyone only has a certain amount of emotional energy that they can expend at any given moment, especially with whatever you have going on in your life, work life, personal life, dating life, whatever it is. So I think that we really need to pick and choose our battles a lot more carefully so that we can stay focused.
Well, that's inarguable. No matter how you vote in this poll, you should be a lot more pissed that we don't have $15 minimum wage than Chrissy Teigen's party. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.